And we're live. Welcome to the BIL Hangout live stream, everyone. No agendas, no pressure, just keeping it free and easy. I'm Paul. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what's on your minds today and really curious to see how this stream unfolds. It's now about 1:52 p.m. on Wednesday, the 18th of March. It's a balmy 21 degrees here in Ballarat, Victoria, Australia, which is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's quite a nice day. The sun's even poking its head out between the clouds from time to time. Hope everything's well in your part of the world. Let me know where you're signing in from and what you ride. And don't forget to drop a like and a subscribe if you'd like to see more of these BIL Hangout live streams. Now, today's topic is which would I keep today? Bagger or cruiser? So really, it's a discussion between which is better, a bagger or a cruiser. And I think it really comes down to the sort of riding you're going to do. Because I get asked this question all the time, which would I keep? If I had to sell one, which would I keep? And that varies from day to day. Like sometimes I'm riding the Chief and I think, there's no way I would sell this Chief in favour of the Chieftain. And then like today I'm riding the Chieftain and thinking, no, I think if push came to shove, I would sell the Chief and keep the Chieftain. And I think it all depends on, really, I'm trying to boil down what the difference is, and it depends on the sort of riding I'm doing. And a cruiser, in the case of the Chief or in the Scout, I can only sort of talk about the Indian motorcycle range. I can't talk about any other brand. The Indian range is the one I've ridden pretty well all the bikes in the range, and know how each bike compares, and I can't do that with any other brand. So this is all related to Indian motorcycles. And in the case of the Indians, the Scout and the Chief their strengths are agility, and in the case of the touring bikes or the baggers, if you like, the Pursuit, the Chieftain, the Challenger, the Roadmaster, their strength is comfort. So if I'm going to be putting down a few miles, I'm naturally going to gravitate to my Chieftain because that's definitely the most comfortable bike. If I'm looking for a bit of a more spirited, more fun, a shorter ride, then I'm going to gravitate towards the Chief because it's more ideally suited to that sort of riding. And the term bar hopper, I think, really sums up the Chief, and perhaps not so much the Scout. I think that the Chief and bar hopper are really apt and really line up well, because it's a sort of bike that you can just jump on, go for a ride down the road, go to a bar somewhere, or to an event or a cafe and things like that, and just have some fun just going from place to place where you're not riding continuously for a couple of hours at a time. The Chief is ideally suited to that. Now, I'm not saying you can't do any trips on a Chief in the Super Chief Limited or the Chief, even my Chief Dark Horse. I can easily ride an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then turn around and ride another 2 hours to come home. No problems at all. But I'm not going to be as comfortable as I am on the Chieftain, particularly in terms of wind protection, weather protection, suspension comfort. There's a big difference between the Indian baggers versus the cruisers. And just seating comfort and just general comfort overall. The bagger line is definitely the place you want to be if you want comfort, if you're looking for comfort. Now, if that's, if you're not looking for that, if you're looking for a more fun ride, or even like in the case of the Scout, you're sort of just getting into cruisers, then yeah, the Scout and the Chief are the place to be. And the Scout does feel like a smaller bike to ride than the Chief. The Chief sort of splits the difference between the baggers and the Scout, and the Scout and the Chief, and even like in the bagger line, you've got two distinct riding experiences. If you like horsepower and you want to get into an Indian cruiser, then the Scout's the way to go. If you like torque and you just like to just accelerate and just roll on from low revs and just feel the bike pull, then the Chief's the way to go. Now, when it comes to the baggers, you know, the Chieftain now and the Challenger are both Power Plus engines, which are torquey, but you know their real strength is horsepower. So you can just wind them out and they just keep pulling. Whereas if you wanted just an old school torquey feeling cruiser, a bagger, then you still got the Springfield. I think that's where I'd be looking, which has got the 116 air-cooled engine. If you wanted a bagger that was torquey. Now, the other thing I was talking about, I mentioned about comfort. The suspension on the baggers, we're talking the Chieftain, the Challenger, the Roadmaster, the Pursuit, is way superior to the suspension that's on the Chief. And I feel the Chief suspension was better than the previous generation Scout, but I believe with the new 1250 Scouts that the suspension has come up, and I'd probably say it'd rival the Chief in terms of comfort. But if you're looking for outright comfort, the baggers is the way to go in terms of suspension comfort, because they put top quality Fox shocks on those bikes straight from the factory, and not at any point have I thought that I'd like to upgrade the suspension on the Chieftain, but I do feel from time to time I'd like to upgrade the suspension on the Chief, which you can do. You can buy the optional accessory Fox shocks for the Chief, but it's definitely not necessary on the baggers. I've ridden the 112 Power Plus, I've ridden the 108 Power Plus, I've ridden the 116 Chieftain and Roadmaster, and the suspension is, no problems whatsoever. I do see on other brands that a lot of guys are putting and upgrading suspension on their bikes, but it's one thing with Indian on their baggers. They just put top quality suspension on it day one from the factory, and you don't have to worry about it. But Chief or Scout, I think, would I put on the new Scouts, would I upgrade the suspension on those? I would say probably not. I don't think I'd spend the money on doing that, because I don't think the Scout's that sort of bike where you want to do a lot of Ks on, do a lot of distance work, do a lot of traveling. I'm not saying can't do it, but it's not the bike I would choose to do that. If you were looking at a cruiser that could do a bit more distance, I would look at the Chief line for sure, and then you have the option of fitting Fox shocks on those down the line if you want. The only exception to that, I would say, is the Scout 101, which comes with top quality suspension from the factory. But the rest of the Scout range, you probably, eventually would find the suspension a little bit lacking compared to the 101 or, the Chief, and especially the bagger lines. So, so getting back to like today's riding, I was just doing some testing. I've got my Chieftain set up pretty well today. I did a bit of a wind test with the new screen setup I've got with the little deflector I've added, plus my homemade deflectors I've made. And if you want to see what all that's about, just go through my videos. You'll see what I've been working on there. And actually, what I'll do is I'll put a playlist to all the stuff I've been doing with both my Indians. And today's test was just seeing, I've been getting a lot of buffeting from the stock screen and even the flared screen I bought for the Chieftain. And this is my typical helmet that I run on my bikes, which is an Arai Concept X, which is a great helmet. I love the helmet. But I do notice that this helmet gives me a little bit more buffeting than what my older Arai helmet did, which is still usable. I actually tested this again today. And this helmet is different to the Concept X in that it has this little spoiler on the back of it. And that little spoiler there makes a lot of difference in terms of head buffeting. It reduces it by a fair whack. And I just thought I might mention this because if you're looking for a helmet for your cruiser, your bagger, and you're getting buffeting where it's just sort of pushing your head around as you're riding, and you're looking for a new helmet, look for a helmet that has this little spoiler on the back. And there's lots of different brands that have like a little ducktail spoiler, because that really does help to disturb the air and break up the air that's coming across the helmet. And I think what's happening is the air's coming over, and if it doesn't have this little diffuser here, it's sucking onto the helmet, and it's just sort of grabbing your helmet and pushing it around. When you have like a spoiler or like a diffuser here, it breaks the air. So instead of it being sucked onto the back of the helmet, it sort of just kicks it off. And that's enough to really help break up the buffeting and reduce the buffeting by a lot. So a little tip there, if you're thinking about a new helmet, you're getting a full face, look for something which has a diffuser, a little ducktail on it, and I reckon you'll have a better time in terms of buffeting down the track. I did see Alpine Stars have got a new helmet out, which has got the ducktail, but it also has, I call it a ducktail, but a little spoiler, but it also has two spoilers down the side, well, two, I suppose you could call them spoilers, where the air can pass through, but it's got like a cover over it. And I saw a review, and they said that typically when they were riding their bike and they turned their head, they could feel the wind sort of grab their head. But that little spoiler on the diffuser spoiler on the side of that really helped to stop and alleviate all that. So at some point, I'd like to try and get hold of one of those Alpine Stars and just give it a good test with my Chieftain and see if it's even better again than my Arais. I've had this Arai here, I've had for years and years and years. And I went from this Arai to, see if I can grab it, to Shoei GT Air 2. And the Shoei GT Air, it's a great helmet, but I'm much more comfortable. These are mediums. I have a size medium in both Arai and Shoei. They both fit very similarly. But I'm much more comfortable in both my Arais than I am the GT Air. And I find that with the GT Air, it sort of feels more claustrophobic on my face. Like it's the cheek pressure is much the same, but I think it's airflow. I don't get, even though it's a GT Air, when I open, like in the middle of summer, open this vent up, I can feel a cold strip across the top of my head, and but the rest of my face feels pretty warm, even though when I've got the front vent open and things like that. With the Arais, my chair's a bit creaky, sorry. With the Arais, I don't have any vents on top in this helmet, but this helmet feels cooler in summer than what the GT Air does, which is really interesting. And the way Arai handle it is different to Shoei. There's no vents or scoops on top. There's no ducts to take the air out the back here. But they have these little brow vents on the front of the visor here, and they just open up into two positions. You got halfway and then fully open, and there's one each side. And the air goes in through here and goes across the top of the helmet and gets drawn out. You can see that there, drawn out the back through here. And this airflow on this helmet is just, it's very uniform, very even, and super comfortable in summer. And it's got a nice big chin vent here, which is closable on the inside here. And yeah, just as a helmet to wear for comfort, I find the Arai much more comfortable than the Shoei. And the other thing too about the Arai versus Shoei, this is turning into an Arai versus Shoei stream, is the this helmet is much older than my Shoei helmet, but this helmet is in better condition than my Shoei. My Shoei looks fine from the outside, but the headliner inside, like it's still in good condition, the liner and the headliner in the Arai, but in the Shoei, the headliner just started falling apart, sort of like just sort of, you know how stuff breaks down and just starts to come apart over time? That's what happened to the headliner in the Shoei. So, and look at what's happened here on the Shoei. Now, this has done, you know, probably just as much work as the Arai. Arai might have done even a little bit more work. This is a lot older. The Shoei is just, in my view, is not as well built as what the Arais are. And so, and I'm more comfortable in the Arai helmets than I am the Shoeis, even though they're the same size. So that's really interesting. So I thought I'd just show you that. So I tested the Arai with the spoiler on the back this morning, and yeah, I now have my Chieftain perfectly set up for me. The Saddleman road sofa just gets more and more comfortable every time I ride it. It's really, I can really feel it sort of settling into my weight and my body shape and things like that. Now I'm up to 5,000 or 6,000 Ks on the Chieftain, and yeah, I've had that seat on pretty well from day one. So at the 5,000 K mark, it's really now starting to feel super comfortable. So with the Saddleman road sofa, oh, and just a little caveat on that, the Saddleman road sofa I've got is it's got the smooth pattern on top of the seat. If you get the what do you call it, ladder stitch one, I did have someone tell me they bought a ladder stitch one and they tried my seat and they said my seat feels a lot softer than what the ladder stitch seat feels. So I think if you're going to get a Saddleman road sofa for the Indians, definitely go for the one that's got the smoother pattern, because it's a reportedly more comfortable seat than the ladder stitch option. Now, it may be because I've worn my seat in, you know, after 5,000 kilometers that it feels that way, but it does feel like, you know, because it's a smooth, it does feel soft. The top layer does feel soft and then it's firm underneath. Because it has that smooth layer, I think it's just feels more instantly comfortable to sit on than what the ladder stitch option does. So keep that in mind if you're going to buy a Saddleman road sofa for your Indian. Yeah, so the screen, the way I've got it set up now with the little deflector, I've got the stock screen, little deflector. I'll put a link to a playlist of all the videos where I've been working on my bike. My homemade deflectors, airflow I've got sorted. I've got next to no buffeting. I've got good airflow. I've got, the way I've got set up now, my beard would flap around in the wind a lot prior. Now I barely feel anything there. And where the wind was sort of coming up underneath me from around the fairing, it's now coming around me and behind me. So I've got it really well set up. I feel more air on my body, but less in my face coming up from underneath. So that's really good. So I've got, yeah, it's comfortable suspension. seating, ergonomics I'm very happy with. I've just got the stock handlebars. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way it's set up. So after riding today, I'm riding around thinking, which would I keep, the Chief or the Chieftain? And I would have to say today, I would say the Chieftain, because the Chieftain is still, quite easy to manage around town riding. It's it's comfortable. Engine performance, even though the bike's a little bit heavier than the Chief, I don't notice any real difference, and mainly because I ride my Chief in sport mode, and I ride my Chieftain in standard mode, because standard mode to me suits the Chieftain riding style better, and sport mode suits the Chief riding style better. And I did notice the other day, actually, I switched the Chief back to standard mode just to see how it feels compared to the Chieftain. And I noticed I didn't like it. I just didn't like the standard mode on the Chief. I went back to sport mode. But hey, Drop Bear Motor, how you going, mate? What time is it where you are? In Florida? Must be either early or late. Yeah, so I find standard mode versus sport mode, if you 11:15 p.m. Okay, cool. If you're finding that you're getting a lot of decel popping and banging from some aftermarket slip-ons that you've put on your Chief, when I switched, I'm always riding in sport mode. When I switched back to standard mode, I noticed an increase in decel popping and banging coming from the slip-ons. So there's something about, I know they say it's only throttle response, but I reckon there's something a little bit different going on tune-wise, because when I switch to sport mode, that settles down a lot. And because I was thinking the other day, I remember it used to, when I first put the Reinhardts on, the decel popping and the banging used to really annoy me, and that's why I put extra packing in and things like that. And then everything sort of settled down, and I sort of thought, well, maybe the exhaust just is wearing in and carboning up, and And then when I switched back to standard, I realised I don't think it was that. I think it was I'd switched from standard, because I rode my bike in standard mode, my Chief, for the first 4,000, 5,000 kilometres before switching into sport mode full time. And I reckon the difference is not the changes I made to my slip-ons, but running my bike in sport mode versus standard mode. So if you've got a Chief and you've got aftermarket slip-ons and you're finding you're getting decel popping and a lot of banging and things like that, because I would get the decel popping would get to a point when I decelerated that it would just go bang. It was just like a gunshot going off. And in sport mode, I don't notice that at all. So yeah, that's a little tip there. Give it a try. If you are experiencing a lot of decel popping, switch your Chief to sport mode, or your Chieftain or whatever, your 116. I'm talking about 116s, and see how that goes. Now, Drop Bear Moto. I had a viewer was going to do a Indian demo day in Florida. Was it last week? Yeah, it would have been last week. And he said he was going to try and say good day to you when he went down there. I can't remember his name. Something Divided, I think. He rides Harleys, but he was going to test ride the Scout 101. So I wonder if he got to catch up with you. If anyone doesn't know about Drop Bear Moto's channel, go and check it out. It's a really good channel. Wheels Divided, that's it. A really good channel to check out. And I enjoy Richard's videos, and I'm sure you will too. So if you're into Indians, especially, check it out. Oh, on Harleys, I think your wife's got a Harley from memory. Yeah, is it the Road Glide that your wife's got? I can't remember. I only tend to remember the Indians. So yeah, anyway, that's Sparky. Okay. Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, oh, good. I was hoping you would get to test drive the Chief Vintage. Did you like it? Oh, you've got 7. Man. So you've got the Challenger. Oh yeah. What other bikes have you got? Okay, love both the Pursuit and the Vintage. That's interesting because 2 different riding styles there, a 112 versus a 116. I had some stickers made up the other day, and Sticker Mule was doing a bit of a deal on them. I got like 50 stickers for about $20, and they came out. This is the previous stickers that I've had here, these ones here, and I got these new ones made up, and they came out a little bit smaller than I was expecting. So, but still, I think they're going to be cool. And I made a bit of a mistake. I've got bikes I like running down here. It's pretty easy to see in here, but I did it in a finer outline font, and you can sort of hardly read it at this size. It works well at a larger size, but yeah. So they're my new stickers that I'm going to run with for a little bit. I think they capture the spirit of my channel. So Lavina has a Sport Chief, Road Glide, and now 112 Challenger. You have the Challenger, Road Glide. So you've got a Road Glide as well. You've got 2 Road Glides, FTR and Rocket 3. Okay, yeah, wow. You've got quite a nice collection there. So which is your favourite? I know it's hard to play favourites. If you had to sell your bikes and only have one, which would you keep, Richard? That'd be my question. Challenger. There you go. There you go. Now you rode. I saw your video where you rode the Pursuit. I think it was a Pursuit with the Chieftain. Chieftain, the new 112 Chieftain fairing Pursuit. Is that right? That was the one you rode. Because I'm curious to see what you think about the handlebar mounted fairing versus the Challenger's frame mounted fairing. Now with my Chieftain, I've had both the handlebar mounted fairing and the frame mounted fairing I had on the Vulcan Vaquero. Okay, so you rode the Roadmaster and Pursuit 112. Okay, and I find on my Chieftain, which has got the handlebar mounted fairing, I don't even think about it, and I've never even thought in wind and crosswinds and things like that. I've never felt anything unusual coming from the handlebars. If I go out of my way to try and see if I can feel a difference, I'd say at low speeds, really low speeds, if I turn to a handlebar and really think about it and focus on it, I can think, okay, yeah, I can feel there is a little bit of weight sitting on top of the handlebar, but no, it doesn't affect me one little bit at all. And after having the Vaquero with the frame mounted fairing, I thought that would be the one thing about a handlebar mounted fairing bike I wouldn't like, would be feeling that weight on the handlebars. And no, not an issue at all. I just don't feel it, don't notice it, have never noticed it, have never felt wind pushing on it or anything like that. It just doesn't even cross my mind one little bit. So I'm curious to see, having said that, I'm curious to see someone who's owned a Challenger, ridden a Challenger for a long time, if you notice a difference, or if you did notice a difference, And if you can notice a difference. So Drop Bear Moto says we are definitely fixed fairing bagger riders both, but we do big days at high speed against trucks on interstate and at 80 to 90 miles per hour. Fixed is best for us. Okay. Yeah. So for us, if I was caught doing 90 miles an hour, which is what our speed limit is 70, 70. Yeah, I think at 90 I'd be in lose my license territory if I got caught doing those speeds. It's automatic loss of license. So we have to be careful what we do here. And you're very fortunate in the US that, what is the speed limit in Florida? Is it 80? Is it 70? Is it 60? And is it, say for instance, 60, but everyone just does 80, 90, and the police don't seem to mind? Like, how does it work? Because I often see US riders and streamers, reviewers, whatever, riding at 80, 90, 100 miles an hour like it's no big deal. Too many points on your license. Yeah. Fortunately, my license is healthy, but I work very hard to keep it that way. Okay, so speed limit 70, but 10 over is expected. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, cool. So was it a good demo day? And is the Chief Vintage a potential on your shopping list, Drop Bear Moto? Because if you've got 7 bikes, you may as well add one more. I wonder how much, I'm still working out all this live streaming stuff, so I'm wondering how much delay there is between when I ask something or by the time you guys get to see it. Okay, not for us. I can't remember what that what the question was. All right. Well, I think if you haven't dropped a like on the stream, drop a like on the stream. I'm just going to pop in and do these from time to time. Oh, okay. So Chief Vintage, not for you. More performance focused. And so Sport Chief is the best on Chief platform for you guys. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. The no, it's okay. I appreciate you popping in to say good day. I'm still trying to work out which is the best time to stream. Now, I thought this might not be a good time for people in the US, but 11 p.m. is not so bad. Yeah, you get Drop Bear Moto says that he loves inverted forks, radial Brembos, etc. Yeah, and the Fox shocks. You get a lot of good stuff on the Sport Chief. And I'll tell you a little story about the Sport Chief and my Chief. When I bought my Chief Dark Horse, I put my deposit down and put my order in. As I was waiting for the bike to come, it was going to take about three months to come from the US. The Indian released the Sport Chief, and the guys at Indian Motorcycle in Ballarat said, "Do you want to switch your order over from the Chief Dark Horse to the Sport Chief?" And I was in two minds. I thought I really liked the Chief Dark Horse, but when they released the Sport Chief with the inverted forks, Brembos, Fox shocks, fairing, little screen, the risers, I thought, on paper, it definitely made a lot more sense than the Chief Dark Horse. It was going to be more expensive, but it definitely made sense. And so I was torn. And Mark said to me, well, why don't you put a deposit down on both? So I actually ordered and put a deposit down on the first Sport Chief that came into Australia. I was the first to order one. And knowing that I would have a few months to make up my mind as to which bike I would take. And for weeks, I went backwards and forwards and looked at both, and like online, and thought about what I wanted to do to the bike, how I would ride the bike, which bike was more me is what I was coming to. And my head kept saying Sport Chief, but my heart kept saying Chief Dark Horse. And then I thought, well, whatever comes first, I'll just take whatever comes first. But then I thought, no, I'm going to make a decision. And so after about 4 weeks, 6 weeks, I thought, no, Chief Dark Horse, that's it. That's the one that speaks to my heart. The Sport Chief was saying, no, you're crazy, get the Sport Chief. But my heart said, no, I just really loved the Chief Dark Horse. I knew what I wanted to do to it, what changes I wanted to make, the sort of riding I would be doing on that bike. And so I just decided, no, it's it, Chief Dark Horse. And fortunately, the Chief Dark Horse came into Australia first. So that's how I ended up on the Chief Dark Horse over and above the Sport Chief. Yeah, I do wonder if, I did think about the Chief Bobber. Actually, what I was going to buy was a Super Chief Limited. That's what I was going to get. But then I after my test ride on the Sport Chief, the Chief Dark Horse, I thought, nah, it just speaks to me. It was, I like the fact that it had the alloy wheels. I like spokes, but I don't like cleaning and maintaining them. So I like the fact that it had the alloy wheels. I like the fact that it was the lightest of all the Chiefs. That really appealed to me. And I did like the riding position with the drag bars and things like that as well. So for me, the Chief Dark Horse was the way to go. Now, I've seen some made changes with the 8-inch rise mini apes and settlement seat and sissy bar and things like that. And so I've got it set up really nicely. And I was looking at it just yesterday in the garage and thinking there's a few things now I would like to do, a couple of changes I'd like to make. And one of them involves paint. I'd really like to make it really my own. So it's no other bike in the world is going to look like my Chief. That's what I'd like to do. So I think the next phase is the two things I want to do, and one modification I want to make, and that's regarding seating. So, and the other thing is paint. And I've got an idea of what I want to do paint-wise. So we'll see how that goes. Drop Bear Moto says, watched your videos when you went through the process, and in hindsight, probably should have gone Dark Horse for mid pegs and mags. We learned that from you, yeah. Yeah, I can't get off the mids. I've got forwards. I bought forwards for it, put them on, ran them for a week, and took them off. Went straight back to my mids. And even just last month or a month or two ago, I thought I should try the forwards again just to make sure. Put them back on, ran them for a week, and straight back off, straight back onto the mids. So I'm definitely on that bike. Definitely a mids guy. G'day T44 R4. How you going, mate? Watching from Queensland. Awesome. She did. Drop Bear Moto says that she did end up with the same bars on the Chief as you. Yeah, I really like those bars. They're very comfortable. Now, having said that, I find The bars on the Chieftain, I've just got the stock handlebars on the Chieftain, and I'm totally fine with those. I thought I'd want to put higher bars on that like I have on the Chief, but I just have no interest to do that. And I think it's the Saddleman Road sofa sort of sits me back a little bit than what the stock seat does, and I have a little bit. I'm leaning forward more, a little bit more weight onto my wrists, and I just find it really comfortable. It sort of sits me in the perfect position for that bike. So, but I was expecting to put mini apes on the Chieftain, but I definitely don't need to. I'm very happy with the way it's set up right now. So if it's Florida, if you're probably coming up to midnight, would LA be like 3 or 4 hours behind you? Is that how it works from Florida? Because I thought I'd try a stream. I've tried a stream at 9 a.m. my time. I tried a stream at 8 p.m. my time. When I say 9 a.m., thinking that I would pick up UK, US, and I did pick up UK, but I didn't get many US people watching. So I reckon for me, the best time, I'm just looking at the amount of people popping in and saying g'day on this stream is more than I get on the 9 a.m. stream and more than I get on the 8 p.m. stream. So I reckon I might start locking into 1 to 2 p.m. in the afternoon is looking like where I might settle. We'll see how it goes. So 11:30 p.m. in Canada. G'day, Buzzsaw. How you going, mate? Okay, so I think later is better. Would you think? Rather than say for you guys, if the stream came on at 8 p.m. Tuesday night's good. Okay, because you do thrashing. Drop Bear Moto says that Tuesday night's good. I do thrashing at 7 p.m. Eastern, then throttle and iron at 8 p.m. So still scrolling when I found you. Okay, cool. Good to know. So I could come on, what's time now? 2:34. So I could come on around 1:32 my time, which suits me. That works best for me. And then I'm going to pick up you guys in the US and Canada, which is 11, 10, 11, somewhere around there, which is past the mainstream guys. And Tuesday night's good. So what's today for me? Today's Wednesday, because wherever you guys in the US. So Wednesday, 2 p.m. I might do that. I might lock that in for a little while, for a few streams. Make it so I always stream Wednesday at this time, my time, which will be Tuesday in the UK and the US, Tuesday night, and then see how that goes. And I'll just do some random streams here and there as well. Because I find it's a good way to talk about what's on my mind rather than going to the trouble of making a dedicated video, because there's a lot of work in that. Yes, I've been watching Throttle and Iron. So Drop Bear Moto recommends Throttle and Iron for any Indian fans. Kyle from Forever Rad on tonight, and a bunch of IMRG members. Watch. Cool. Go back and watch it because it's already been on, but definitely go and watch it, guys. That's a good recommendation from Drop Bear Moto. And also make sure you check out Drop Bear Moto's channel. I'm spewing that I didn't see your Instagram message when you were in Australia. I definitely want to try and get over to the US at some point and catch up for you guys. Okay, T44R4 says, mate, why young generation buy sport bike and don't bother switching into cruiser category later of full licenses. So um, I think you're asking why I don't switch. I reckon, I reckon a lot of people do switch, and I reckon the young guys today will. When I was riding sport bikes in the '90s, I was into super bikes. I was riding sport bikes. I was just not into cruisers whatsoever. I couldn't even imagine foregoing awesome handling, incredible horsepower, amazing cornering abilities, and jumping onto a cruise. I just could not imagine I would ever do that. And then you get older, and you sort of you slow down and you start to appreciate a more relaxed lifestyle, and then you start to try a cruiserish sort of bike, and then you realise that cruisers aren't necessarily boring, slow, um, just old man bikes. They're um, they're actually got a lot of character. They're very rewarding to ride. You can get performance cruisers. You can spend a lot of money, making it even faster if you want. Suspension handling. Look at Battle of the Baggers. Those bikes aren't doing much slower than the supersport category around those tracks. So uh, yeah, the cruiser market is not what you think it is when you're riding a sport bike, and I think it's just be patient. The people that are on sport bikes, the young guys now that just could not imagine themselves on a cruiser later on in life. I'll bet you'll find half of them on baggers when they get older, 100%. Okay, Buzzsaw says, for me, I'd be keeping a cruiser over a bagger. I do day trips for the most part. One day I may do multi-day trips, then I'd get a bagger. Yeah, and it depends on the sort of riding that you're doing. Yeah, if you're doing lots of Ks and what's your priority? If fun was my priority, I'd chief all day. If comfort and relaxation is my priority, then it's to Chieftain all day long. Yeah, inflation may be a reason too. Basic baggers category is above 30K down under. I know it's a very expensive category to get in, and once you're in, it doesn't just stop at buying the bike. You don't buy a cruiser unless you're going to spend money to make it your own and really have it set up so it's perfect for you. The plus side of that is once you've done that, you're less likely to want to sell it, and you stay satisfied on the bike longer than if you just buy a bike from Honda, Kawasaki, wherever, ride it. After a year or two, you're sort of looking for something different. But I find personally that cruisers keep me satisfied longer, and they have done that more than any other category of bike. Drop Bear Mutto says that it's interesting to see. I see many young crotch rocket riders move on to the Rocket 3. Yeah, I could say that. And King of the Baggers, and while performance bagger scene is getting big. Yeah, 100%. You've got Harley entering. I call it exhibition racing at MotoGP, but I think that's really good to get that crowd, which I'm a part of. I'm a huge MotoGP fan. But to get that crowd who don't even look at baggers, just curious about what it's all about. From the racing point of view, it doesn't interest me just watching a bunch of Harleys going around track racing each other, for the same reason that Moto 2, I can't get interested in that, because they're all running the same engine, different frames, different chassis, but I don't know, it just doesn't appeal to me. Like I like MotoGP because everyone's building their own thing, and a manufacturer can get an advantage through being clever, whereas with engine development, frame development, aerodynamics packages, whereas with Moto 2, I find it too restricted. I don't like that, and for that reason, I see the Harley's entering MotoGP, and that race series probably not going to hold the same sort of appeal for me as well. I much prefer to watch Battle of the Baggers, Harley versus Indian. I think that's where it's at for me. Crypt 3CK says, I live in Belgium and I prefer a cruiser. I'm now currently thinking of changing my Rebel 1100 for an Indian Scout Bobber, but I'm not sure yet. And that's totally cool. Like the Rebel 1100 is a really nice bike. And what I would highly recommend is definitely going for a test ride on the Indian Scout Bobber. You'll know once you spend a little bit of time on it whether it's the right bike for you, and you might decide that, you know what, I like the Rebel 1100 better, and that's totally cool too. Buzzsaw says the new Indian Vintage may cover my bases for a while with its saddlebags option and cruise control. The only thing I don't like about the Chief Vintage, and the same about the Super Chief Limited, is those saddlebags. I think they look fantastic, and I like that they're leather covered, they're hard bags, but the opening is very narrow. And I couldn't get my camera bag in there. I couldn't get my backpack in there, I don't reckon. Whereas with the bags on the Chieftain and the Pursuit and the Challenger, they're decent sized bags. They've got a large opening, and I can just drop whatever I want into them. But on the Chief Vintage and the Super Chief Limited, I think those bags are too restricted. They look fantastic, don't get me wrong, but personally, if I bought a Chief Vintage or a Super Chief Limited, I think I'd go the aftermarket bag route to get something more in line with more functional for the way I would use the bike. T44R4 says, I don't know about Victoria, but here in Queensland, road users are bad at driving here. Every day, a rider is getting killed here. Safe mountains these days. Okay, so it's safer to head off into the mountains than to ride around in cities, I imagine. And I would agree with that, especially like I live in Ballarat, and for those of you who don't know, Ballarat, Victoria has a population of about 120,000 people. Melbourne, we're talking millions, is the population of Melbourne, and I don't like even going to Melbourne. I just stay right away from it. If I go for a ride, it's through town. No problems at all here in Ballarat, but most of the time it's just straight out the highway and off I go. I just don't have no interest in riding around in a city. Now, many of us have no choice because we live and work in cities, but for me, I have the luxury of just getting straight out into the countryside and I'm gone. Having said that, I've had to make a beeline for the side of the road a couple of times because I've been on the highway 100 k's an hour, 60 miles an hour, and coming on a bend, there's a car coming towards me. The person's looking at their phone and they're going straight and they're coming straight for me. So I've just had to sort of get off into the side of the road to get around them. And, so they're just, they're menaces. The menaces are everywhere. But if it's bad out in the country roads, it's going to be 10 times worse in the city, I can imagine, with people on their phones especially. All right, I think we're coming up to 54 minutes on the stream. I was just going to pop on for 5 or 10 minutes, and here we are, 54 minutes later. Yeah. Buzzsaw is asking me, I'm curious if the Thunderstroke 116 is smooth at 120 k's an hour or so. All right, so on my Chieftain, for those who don't know, in 6th gear, I'm doing 80 k's an hour, which is 50 miles an hour in top gear. If I accelerate from 1800 RPM, which is, so what did I say? Yeah, in 6th gear at 1800 RPM, I'm doing 80 yeah, 6 gear, 1800 RPM, I'm doing 80 k's an hour in top gear. If I accelerate from 1800 RPM to 3,500 RPM, which is not far on the tacho, it goes from 80 k's an hour to 160. So at 3,500 RPM, I'm doing 160 k's an hour. Now, that's the torque of the 116. It's just, you just give it a twist and you just go straight there. If you let it, if you're on a racetrack, I wouldn't do that on the road, of course. But so at 120 k's an hour, it's probably doing, oh, I don't know, 2,900 RPM, maybe 120, which that's coincidentally where peak torque is. So yeah, 120 k's an hour is a doddle on the 116. No problems at all. Super smooth, no issues. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Ballarat is a nice place. Drop Air Moto says he loves Ballarat. Did several trips out here when he lived in Melbourne. Yeah, so yeah, the 116 for me is just perfect for the sort of riding that I like to do, and I can be in top gear, 6 gear, 80 k's an hour, 50 miles an hour, doing 1800 RPM, just open the throttle and away we go. And it doesn't sound like it's working, doesn't feel like it's working. You just get push, you just go. Oh, cool. Thanks, T44R. You said you really like my background setup. I'm getting a nice vibe. I'm making up little bits and pieces. I'm just adding to it. I bought these little LED lights to give me that streamer look, which I can control via my phone. So yeah, I think, look, I'm enjoying these streams, and I'm going to convert the sort of videos I would normally make and shoot and things. I'm just going to turn them into live streams and tell you everything I was going to tell you in that video, but just in live stream format. And what I'm also going to do, I've worked out, for some reason, on must be the Edge browser. I'm using Edge browser. I'm on the Surface Go, Microsoft Surface Go laptop, and I can't install Chrome on here. And the YouTube live streaming app, which is what I'm using, which works fantastic, won't let me share my screen unless I just switch to the desktop, which I worked out how to do today. So what I'll do in future is, if I've got to talk about something or show something or have a little bit of video to show you, I'll be able to now play it, switch to it, play it, and then I'll pop up window in window. And so I'll be able to do a wider range of videos in this format, which will be awesome for me. And I think will work well going down the track, because people can watch these live streams later as standalone videos. And yeah, I think it'll work well, but we'll see how it goes. Crypt3 asks, what do you think about the difference between a parallel twin or a V-twin engine? I hear a lot that Rebel lacks soul due to parallel twin. I'll know when I test Ride the Scout tomorrow. I like both. I've owned both. I had a parallel twin in my Thruxton 900. Heaps of character. Love that engine. I had a parallel twin in my NC 750X. Again, great engine, lots of character, lots of torque. I've ridden the lots of Royal Enfield 650 parallel twins. Love that engine. It's got so much character. It's got soul. It's an awesome little engine. And I love V twins as well. They are different. Like I love the 116. I like the 116 more than the Power Plus. Sorry, Drop Air Moto, but the Power Plus for me is its advantage is it starts off. It feels like it starts off at its place a little higher up in the RPMs, and its power is higher up and its torque is higher up. The benefit of that is at low speed throttle openings, the Power Plus is superior to the 116 Thunderstroke. 116 Thunderstroke takes well, more skill. You've got to learn how to feather the clutch and things at really low speeds, whereas the Power Plus is much easier at low speeds. But the Power Plus, I find that I have to give it more to get that sense of push, whereas the Thunderstrokes just seems it's just all there instantly. That's the difference for me. Now, if you're looking for, you put the two on a drag strip, Power Plus is going to kill the 116, no problems at all. But it's just riding feel and the characteristics of the engine appeal to me more on the 116 than they do the Power Plus. Now, the V-twins, and this is where I get back to my point of parallel twins versus V-twins, the same thing happens in the world of parallel twins in the crank setup. So if you get a 270-degree crank set up on a parallel twin, it'll feel more like a V-twin, and it's designed to more emulate the pulses of a V-twin. But if you get a 360-degree crank on a parallel twin, you get a different engine experience and sound. And I actually really like the 360-degree sound, which is what the older BSAs and the older Triumphs used to do on their bikes. And the current version, or the current era, current bike that has that set up, it would be the Kawasaki W800. And if you go online and look for a Kawasaki W800 with a set of pipes on it, it's got a bevel gear drive for the cam, and the pulses of the 360-degree crank is very unique, and I prefer the sound of that on that parallel twin than I do the 270-degree crank parallel twin. So I'm a fan of both parallel twins and V-twins. I also love inline fours. I've had quite a few inline fours. They've also got their own character and their own signature way of developing power. So yeah, every engine has its own unique characteristics. Like a single cylinder thumper has also got a lot of character to ride, but some do it better than others. And the triple, I've ridden triples, they're awesome as well. They seem to me, the triple I rode was a Daytona 675R, and the triples straddle horsepower and torque in a beautiful way. They have a really throaty drive to them and grunt coming on the throttle, and then when they start to really pick up, you can feel the horsepower sort of take over. So yeah, triples are awesome engines as well. So every engine has its character. Some V-twins do it better than others, but you won't know until you test ride one. Okay, so I'm curious what this chat thinks: Indian Vintage or Harley Heritage Solo. Personally, I like both. For me, my personal opinion, I like both, I reckon, equally. There you go. And I'm an Indian guy, and I love the Chief Vintage. But if it was my money, I wouldn't just rush out and buy a Chief Vintage. I would also test out the Harley Heritage 114. Is it 117 now? I can't remember. Because I reckon that's an excellent bike as well. So yeah, I wouldn't just go and put my money down on the Chief Vintage. I would test ride both and then pick one. So that's my thought of it. So you're our Kerry Hart of IMC from Australia. Are you referring to me, T44? Because I definitely wouldn't say that if you're referring to me. No, I'm not in the same league as Kerry Hart, that's for sure. Yeah, all right. So I think we'll pull a pin there, guys. What state in Australia has more Indian motorcycle ownership? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. There There is a summit, Indian Motorcycle Summit, coming up your way in Queensland on May the 1st to 4th, I think it is. So it's going to be a big event, all Indian motorcycles and Victory, Indian and Victory. I'll share some more on that on my next live stream, and there is also another one being set up too. I can't remember, by Christine Keeble, I think, is organising it. So I'll share those as well. Two big functions that are coming up in New South Wales and Queensland. So there's a bit coming up in terms of what's happening Indian-wise in Australia very shortly. Although I think the one that Christine Keeble's involved with is not till September, but there is a big one coming up in 1st to the 4th of May, I think it is. Crypt, thanks for the info. Helps me a lot, as did your videos, since I'm 185 centimeters tall. Yet makes it so much easier when you're watching someone who's the same size as you riding bikes, and you can see what they're experiencing and how it feels for them. It's much more relatable than, say, someone that's a foot difference in height. Yeah, no worries. Thanks very much for dropping in, Drop Bear Matter. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you in another one. Ride safe, mate. Talk to you soon. All right, I'm going to pull the pin as well, guys. Thanks very much for everyone that joined in and popped in to say g'day and watched the stream. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And that'll also be a bit of an indicator as whether you guys want to see more of them. Good night to everyone in the UK, US, Canada, wherever you are. Good afternoon to my Australian viewers. And until next time, bye for now.